Welcome back. In this episode, we'll continue to explore web scraping with BeautifulSoup in Python, and here we will experiment with a new approach using the OpenAI GPT API to extract data from the text content that we extract from web pages, for example, from the description page for investors that is hosted on Innovate UK website, which we have been exploring since the previous episode. So our learning objective in this episode will include learning how to set up the environment that connects with GPT API endpoint, and also learning how to use this endpoint in our Python script to prompt the GPT OpenAI model to help us extract data, the specific data that we will define in our program from the text content that we get from these web pages. So these are the things we will explore in this episode. If you find any of the content informative in any way, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like the videos, share with anyone that you think will also benefit from this content. Without further ado, let's dive in and start exploring our goals in this episode. In order to use the GPT API endpoint in our program, we need to create an account on the OpenAI. We sign up on the OpenAI website, which is this. I will drop the link to this sign up, create an account page for those who do not have an account. And the second link I will put here is a quick start tutorial, which takes us through how to set up the account and how to set up our Python environment to use the OpenAI API endpoint in our program, and also how to get to generate the API key. One thing I want us to know in this at this point is that before we can use the API key that we generate from our account, we will need to have some kind of subscription on the account. It's just a small I think less than £1 that we will use in the process of running the program that we will use as an example in this episode. So let's go ahead and set up our OpenAI account, go through the quick start tutorial, and get an API key from your account. Let me assume you have been able to create your OpenAI account and you have generated the GPT API key that we can use in our Python script. Let's open JupyterLab. I want to open JupyterLab on the folder where I've been writing my Python script since. So this is the folder, I call it scraping. I right click this folder. Now you can open with your terminal, your CMD terminal, but I have git bash on my system, so I will open with git bash and write JupyterLab. This will take me to it will open my JupyterLab on the folder, so that my file, I will be able to see the files that I have on the folder. So we have JupyterLab open for us somewhere here, and now we are in our folder. I can open a script, then let me name the script. It's currently untitled. I think this is it. Let me name it Open AI demo. So one thing that you need to import first is the OpenAI library, which is import OpenAI. So if you don't have this module installed, you might need to install it. So there are two ways, like I said, that you can use the API key in your Python script, and the first approach is what I want to show you, to assign the key directly in your Python script. This is not recommended for security purpose, but I will show you anyway. You can use it for demonstration, but not for production program. So basically, we will write a program to test our connection to the OpenAI endpoint with our API key, and this script will retrieve and print the list of available models from the OpenAI API. So like I said, the approach that I want to show you here is to assign the key directly in your Python script. So you write OpenAI API key is equal to then your key. So I will not expose my key here. So to avoid this, I have my key in this script within this folder, the same folder here. I have my key written in a Word document, you can see. So this is my key. I just made the background black so that you won't see the text. So this is my API key. So instead of showing you how this is applied directly in the code by writing the key here, I will write a function that extracts this key and assign it to this variable OpenAI API key. Let me write this document. Let me write this function up here, which I have called def get key from docx. So this will get my key from that Word document. Before I can use that docx, I will need this import from docx document. So if you don't have this docx module import in your Python, this won't work. If you don't have it installed, you will need to install by using pip install python. Let me show you this in another cell. Let's have it here. If you don't have the module, you have to install pip install python docx. So if you run this now, because I have it installed, it will tell me that all requirement has been satisfied. You can see requirement already satisfied. But if you run this code and you don't have this installed, it will ask you to install. So after this installation, you can import docx from docx. You can import document. This document is D. So after this importation, then we can go ahead to write our code. Doc is equal to document. Use the document object. So I have this key that I've shown you in the Word document. In the Word document, I call it OpenAI underscore key. Is all in this, is the same in this document. It's just that I can open it in the Jupyter Lab. This OpenAI underscore key. So .docx. So I have it in .text, I have it in docx, but because in Word document I'll be able to highlight it and turn it black, that's why I use Word document. So I can refer to it as OpenAI underscore key .docx. So you close that here. So easily you can just say return doc paragraphs and the first index, because we only have one paragraph there, text. So this will return the key for me. Instead of showing you my key, I can just call this function to return that key for me and assign it to this OpenAI API key in our script. So let's write this small script to test our OpenAI connection, key connection with the OpenAI endpoint. So I will not print this my key so that I will not expose my key, but I will assume that the function successfully retrieved the key and assign it to the OpenAI API key. So another import that we need here is to import request, because we'll make an HTTP request to the OpenAI website. So I will create a header here. Headers is equal to, then close brackets. I have my authorization. Let me copy. So I have the authorization, which is my OpenAI key, which I have ported here. This OpenAI key is now assigned here. Then the OpenAI organization, this ID, you can get this ID if you log into your OpenAI account. You get this ID if you log into your OpenAI account, and you go to profile, you go to your profile, my profile, and you go to organization. You can get this organization ID. If you copy this now, this is what I have here. So the organization ID is here, and pretty much that's the header for us. And in the header, so what this code is going to do is to just get from the OpenAI website the models that exist that we can use in our OpenAI endpoint. So we call this URL, and this is going to be the openai.com model website, so where we can retrieve the model, and we will say response is a variable that will get the response of our HTTP request, and we can say get URL, the OpenAI model URL. Then we have our headers as header, and that's pretty much. If the response is successful, if the request is successful, then the response.status code will be equal to 200, and if this is true, then we can say models. The model that we want to print is the JSON object of the response.json. We get this as JSON object, response.json. And if we get this, we can print the models for us if this is successful. Then else, if this is not successful, we want to say print the error message. We want to say print the error message, failed to fetch models. And we want to have the response status code, and also we want to have the response text, response.text. So this gives us the hint about what causes the failure. If there is a failure in our HTTP response, then you print none again, nothing. So let's look at if this is successful. Then we will be sure that we have a smooth connection to our to OpenAI models with our API key. So if I run this, great. This tells us that our connection is successful. My OpenAI key is working, my API key is working, and we're able to fetch the model successfully. Then we can go ahead to write our script, which we use the GPT API to extract data from the website, the Innovate UK website, for each of the investor, the kind of data that we will define next. But before we move on, I mentioned that the approach to get the API, use it in our Python script is two, and the first one is what I just showed you, which is assigning the key directly in Python script, which I mentioned that it is not security efficient. So the other way is to create a virtual environment and export the API key in the virtual environment. Let me show you this other way before we move on to use our connection with GPT API in extracting data from the UK Innovate website. So let's save the script. Let's save this script first and close it. Let's close it, and let's close this Jupyter app. Let's close this Jupyter lab and go back to our Git bash. Ctrl+C to end that session. So in the second approach to using our API key in our Python script in Jupyter Lab, we will create a virtual environment and export this key to the virtual environment. Then we'll get to the script, Python script, to use that key which we have exported. So let's first of all create a virtual environment. Let's say Python VMV virtual environment. Let's call this web scraping. So, and if you run this, it will create a web scraping virtual environment for us. Let's wait a bit. So this is being done. So if I click ls in Windows CMD, so you can see there is web scraping here. So then we can activate. Let me clear this screen. Then with Ctrl+L there, so we can activate this virtual environment. We activate this virtual environment by saying source web scraping. That's the name of the virtual environment that we just created, and we say scripts then /activate. So on the screen you can see the way you would do it if you are on Linux, Mac OS, or you are we are on Windows command line environment. So we have been able to activate this virtual environment. Now we are working in the web scraping virtual environment. So to export our OpenAI key into this environment, we simply say export OpenAI API key, and equals to your key will be here. So note that there is no space between the equals to and the first quote, so your key will be here. So I don't want to expose my key in this tutorial, so I've devised another means to actually extract my key. In this directory, if I say ls, you will see the text version of the OpenAI key. This was the one that I imported in the Python script previously, but I have the OpenAI key also in .txt file, which is a notepad file, from which I will extract it to export and assign it to export OpenAI here. So instead of writing directly my OpenAI key and exposing it in this video, I will just say export OpenAI, so API key is equal to, so I will say this cat, then my OpenAI key dot text, you can see here. Let me copy, and I can just paste it here. So that's the file name that I want to extract my key from, and that's all. I will be able to extract the key that has been written into this file. So the space, I want to remove the space. I will be able to extract the key that is written into this file. So if you are writing on your own and you are not making a video, so easily you can just do this. You can just run on export is equal to your key. Just type your key here, and it will, your API key here, and it will work. So rather than doing that, I will just extract it from the file where I have written the key, so that I will not expose that key in this video. Let me copy this again. So it's just to tell you about the security consciousness. You are not supposed to expose your key to others, so that they won't use it and run expensive bill on your API key. So that's just it. And if I enter now, good, I've been able to extract the key into the environment. We will now go to Jupyter Lab to see how we can use this key that we have exported into this virtual environment. Now type Jupyter Lab to go to Jupyter Lab and start using it in our Python script. So let's start another script to demonstrate the same thing with using virtual environment variables that we have just set. Let's open the script and call it is untitled. Let's call it virtual environment demo demo. So we want to demonstrate how we can just extract the key that we have set in the virtual environment variable. So import request, we know we need import request, because we'll make an HTTP request to the OpenAI demo web page. So we want to import, now we will need OS, then we want to import OpenAI in this. So let's see, all our imports successful. You need to so now we want to assign OpenAI API key. Now we will assign this to os.get the environment variable that we have assigned, which is OpenAI API key. The environment variable is OpenAI API key, which we have assigned our app API key to. So we'll get that through the OS, then we now assign it to the OpenAI key. So if we run the same, let me copy the same script that we now had the other time. Now you have assigned this key now to into this place, you saw the organization OpenAI organization ID, which I showed you. I got it from my own account the last time. So if I run this now, instead of having to assign my OpenAI directly or use the script that I used the other time, extracting it with a function, we can use this environment variable that we have assigned to, setting it in our virtual environment, and we run. Bravo! We can see that we are able to get the model again using this environment variable concept. So here, this is more, it is more, how do I call it, security conscious. You will not reveal your OpenAI key to the users of your application. So that is the two approach that I want to show you. Now we'll get into the assignment of the day to use this API GPT point to extract data from the website of investors on the Innovate UK website. So now to use OpenAI End Point to extract data from UK Innovate website that we have been exploring since. Let's go back to our script to refresh our mind on what we have been doing. So the base URL is this, which is the Innovate UK website, which we have investors enlisted on it, and each of those investors, we have a description page where described what they do. Let's for a market, we invest up to 5 million in a round, blah blah. So all these are description of what the investors invest on and what they do. So if we look at what we have done so far, the last time we are able to extract the email, and finally there is a combined script that I have. This combines everything, and we're able to run the functions, each of the functions, and eventually we have this data extracted from the website. So the description page, which is on the UK Innovate website, so this is the description page for 24A market. Then we have the past partner's name, so we extract this partner's name, and also we have another row, investor partner web, which we extracted from here. So each of the investor have their specific and customized web. If you click this, it goes to 24A market web. So and other data, we have the investor partner contact email, so we extract the contact email from here. So in this episode, what we'll do is we want to capture this text that describes the investor, and we want to be able to say, okay, amount of investment amount and the sector of focus of each of these investor partner. We want to get the amount and the sector of focus from this description text. So this is where we'll explore the large language model. So if we are able to extract this data and get it into the GPT OpenAI model, then give it a suitable prompt, maybe we'll be able to capture the investment amount and the sector of focus, and this will be another column in this data that we are gathering about the investors hosted on the UK Innovate UK website. So let's start by running the code that we have here again and making sure everything works, then make a few adjustments to the last function. So we'll start from requesting import request, and from BS4 import BeautifulSoup. This runs well, and we extract this web extract to extract the BeautifulSoup object of a web URL. So this works, and we have this base URL here which leads to the UK Innovate website, and we have the target class which we use to extract all this, the description page of all the investor hosted. And the next one, we have the get description link, which gets and return the list of description link to the description page of all the 117 investor partner hosted on the site. and this get next page. Here we have page 1 to 6. This function helps us to navigate from page 1 to 6 on the UK Innovate website. And the next function, get all investor link description page recursively. So this one goes to each page and use the first function that to get description link for everyone of the investor hosted in each page. So we have this on this page, it gets all the description link, then it navigates to the next page, and there are list of description link also gets it, and that's how it gets everything up to 117. So that's run this and get investors name, get this name for all investors, get this name for all investors, and going on get investor specific page. So for all investors, it captures this URL for us. And the next one, say get investor partner email. So that's where we extract the email or websites here, and from here get partner data from UK. So we combine all the functions to get partner data. So this is where we'll make a few corrections instead of converting everything to data frame, because we need this investor list, that we got here, so that we'll be able to check each investor in our code. So we will, instead of returning a data frame, we will return the dictionary itself. We will return the dictionary, so it will be easier for us to get the first investor description page link. So let's return the dictionary here. So if we return this, and this will be data dict, and if we run this will get the data for us. I'll be sure that everything works well. So great, we have all the investor partner data extracted from the website, but this is a dictionary now rather than the data frame that we used the other time. So if we look at this, we can actually look for this list of description link which we usually use to extract data. So we can say we want only this, and if we have this, this is the list of description link that we have here. So this list goes to each of the investor link. If I click this, you go to 24A market. If I click the next one, you go to the Act Ventures. So we can access each of the description link to use in our coding today. So if you want to get the first description link, you have to just say index 0, which goes to the A market, and you want to get the second one, you just say index 1, which goes to the Act Ventures. So if we want our data frame, investor data frame, we can just say is equal to PD data frame, then we have our dictionary in here. Hopefully we have the pandas spotted there. So we have our dictionary here in here, and we can run this, then we have the data frame back. So this is a recap of what we've done. So we'll start from here to actually develop the function of the code that will help us to extract this description page and give us an idea of the amount of investment and the sector focused by each of the investor partner. Let's start this by writing the script to prompt the API, to prompt the GPT API and get a REST. First we import OpenAI, and we have the client. We create the client. So I made the example the last just now that is either you assign the key in your script or you assign the key as an environment variable. So here we have made it an environment variable. If you want to assign the key in your script, you just say OpenAI API key, and that will be your key here, your API key here. So that's how to assign the key here in your script. But I have export this key into my API key into the environment variable OpenAI key. So I will just call client is equal to OpenAI. So this will extract my key here, so then I can use my client. So I'll say stream is equal to client.chat. So this is client here, client.chat completions.create. So open and close bracket. Then we have model. The model I want to use is ChatGPT-4 GPT-4 model, and this will now be message. So the message I want to send now is going to be, we have the role and the user. This is user. Then we have the content, the content of my message. We have the prompt. Let's say say hi to my viewers and tell them to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So that's my message, that's my prompt. So this closes it in the dictionary, and that's all here. And the next one is to say stream is true. So that's for the stream. So we get the response from here into a list. Then we can say for chunk in the stream, of response. So we can say chunk the choices. So we get the first filter, content is not none. If this is not none, then we say content is equal to chunk the choices first index dot delta dot content, and this will be response dot append the content. So we can say print chunk dot choices first index dot delta dot content. Then we have end this to concatenate them, and that's all for the script. You can see the script here. So this look pretty much like it. Let's run this and see what output we get from this. So running it, there's an error. Let's see, missing required argument, expected messages. So we have message, it should be messages. So let's run it again and see. Wow. So hi viewers, thank you for tuning in. If you are enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay updated with all the videos on the YouTube channel. Your support goes a long way. Wow. So we're able to prompt, I'm able to prompt the ChatGPT and it brings out this message for you, and I will want you to actually look at the message. I thank you for tuning in, and if this is and you're finding this interesting, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated and check out for all the videos on this YouTube. Your support goes a long way. That shows that we're able to prompt our ChatGPT. Then let's use this to extract the data we want from each of the investors on the Innovate UK web page. So let's refactor this into a function. Let me copy this from here. Let me say div, what should we call this function? Prompt GPT API. So we can say here we want the prompt as the argument, and let's copy this here. Then we have the client OpenAI, the stream, we have in the stream the argument will be model, the message, and the stream true. So this is the response that we get, and here we have this chunk and this to print it for us, but basically we want this function to return the response. So response, so the response list is what we want, but here we just view it what's inside the response list. So this looks pretty much like this, and here instead of having this we will have the prompt. Let's cut this out, Ctrl X. Let me just save it here. Prompt, let's say text is equal to this, and here we'll have the prompt. The argument here is gonna be the prompt for us. So if I run this, we can test our API prompt again. Response, let's call this resp, and we call this, then we say this text, it should give us the same thing if the function is working. So let's run it. Invalid syntax, this is not here again, so run it. Text not defined. Did I run this? No. So let's say run. Good. Hi, hello viewers. Can you see this is different? So hello viewers, hope you're enjoying the content. If you like what you're watching and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Let's continue building this awesome community together. Thanks for your support. So you can see that this is generative. What we have here is different from what GPT API model gives us here, which is interesting. So that shows that this function is working now, and that's the function we will use in our code. So this will give us the list of chunks that forms this. If you print this resp, let's see this resp, this gives us the list of the chunks. See, I didn't say return, so let's say return and run it again, and you see it's a new thing. I got it. So hi viewers, hope you are enjoying blah blah. So if I run this again now, then I'll see the chunks of what forms that particular text. So we have the response chunks here, so that function is working well, and this is what we'll use next. Now let's define the data we want to actually extract from the investor description website. I have mentioned that we may want to see investment amount, that is amount that they are intending to invest, and then we want something like a sector of focus. So let's say this is what we want, and let's just try with one investor partner first. So we have the list of investor partner here, so we can just pick one of them and use it to test, and before we determine if this works. So the first investor partner, let's see this 24 Haymarket, that should be, so that's the URL to the description page, and we can extract the BeautifulSoup structure with the web extract that we've defined. So we can just come down here, you can say soup object, which is this. So, and this, the URL will be the 24 Haymarket description page, and if we run this should give us, yes, fine, it's website successfully retrieved. So if you have soup underscore object, let's say print soup underscore object dot prettify. So this gives us a structural look of the BeautifulSoup object, the text extracted. So this looks like a jargon. We don't want to put all this as a prompt for our GPT API. So how do we extract the text? The text is what we need, and let's go to the so let's look at how we can extract the text here. So we can say soup.text to see if we have the text. Now we have the text, but there are still elements, the HTML elements like /n that we might want to extract. Let's say the text, our text is equal to soup text dot, let's say replace the /n element with empty space. So let's see what we have in our text after this. So if we run this, fine, this looks better. The /n element is gone, so we still have /t, which is tab, and /r. Let's replace also from the text. Now let's say replace /t with t space, and this, let's see our text now. Text now is it's looking cleaner. Let's take away the /r now, and I think that will be okay. Then this will be text dot replace /r with empty space, and let's see text now. let's see, text now will be this. Wow, this looks better as a prompt, as a text prompt to GPT API. So let's look at how the second one will progress. Let's see, let's take the second investor, which is Act Ventures, and let's see if we have this. Let's run. I think we have good text from everyone now with D. So this is Act Ventures. Let's see the third for a test. The third investor partner, ADA Ventures. Now we have a good text for a prompt now. So this is a cleaner text. Let's refactor this process of cleaning the text and returning the text. Let's say we have the soup def get clean text from soup. Then we have the soup structure, soup obj, call it soup object. We do this first with the soup object, and we do this again with the soup object. Then we do this also with the soup object. Then we return the text. So this gives us the function that can clean our soup object. So instead of having to run these three statements, now if we get the soup object, we can just say the text is get clean text, and now as an argument to this function we have the soup object here, so we can easily get clean text from everyone. And if we run this text now, we have a clean text that we can use to prompt our GPT API endpoint. So now let's write a function to create a prompt for our GPT endpoint. Let's say dev create prompt, create prompt. So I want the text that we extract from the web pages as the argument to this function. And now we will say prompt is equal to, let's format this prompt, and let's format the prompt. We can say the prompt is going to be extract investment amount, right, and sector of focus, right, from this text. So we want this, and the text will be the in text. What we have in here will be the text, and that ends the prompt. So we have this prompt here. Let's see if it works. So let me see if we can get this. Let's say this is prompt R. So GPT prompt now is going to be equals to create the prompt, the function to create the prompt. Then we get the text in this test star. We get the text in here and run. Let's see the prompt for us. Print GPT prompt. So oops, we didn't return the prompt here. Return prompt. So good. Let's see what this means. Extract investment amount and sector of focus from this text, and it gives that text. So that will be our prompt for a GPT API. So let's break it down. Process of extracting data from web page. So this will take each of the URL. Let's take the first one, that will be in 0. So and this link will goes to the web extract here. This link will go to the web extract. So we have this soup structure, soup obj, and this will have, let's get this in here, get the soup for us. And when we get the soup, we get the text, clean text from the soup, get the clean text from the soup structure. So this is equal to this, and we'll get this from the soup structure, and that's going to be the text. text for prompt, and now we create the prompt from here. Create the prompt with the text. So this is extraction of data, this is create prompt. So we can say create prompt with the text GPT prompt will be equals to this, and the text will be the argument. And if we create the GPT prompt now, then we have the GPT API prompting function already written. Then we can now put this as now prompt API. So let's say I am just copying the function. I want to call the function, I'm not copying it. So the response is here. Response is equal to prompt API. So we will print what the response looks like also within the function. So let's run this and see if everything works together the way we want it. So prompt, then let's see investment amount. Wow. And the sector of focus is cybersecurity, climate tech, food chain supply. Wow. So let's see if we have the second one, which is ADA, and this gives us retrieve this. Let's see investment. Wow. Investment amount, sector of focus, emerging technologies, technology for healthcare, and can you see? So we can actually iterate through this investor data dictionary and the list, then get this part to the data, investment amount, sector of focus, and add it to this dictionary, this data that we have got here. So let's do that. Let's iterate through it, collect this data for every investor partner on this Innovate UK list, and add it to this data, and would have done the job for this episode. So quickly, before we write the final function, let's modify this prompt GPT API function to get the response the way we want. So instead of printing it here, I want to comment this out. So this is okay. This is okay for us. So we can just comment this part, and we want to just get the response. So we want to just get the response now. We don't want to print this. We want to get the response, and so if we have this, get the response, so this will not print. It will not print for us the way here. So we have the response here. Response is just a list of the chunks. Let's do this again. What happened here? GPT API response. So let's run from here and let's see the response. Oh, we should not. Is this the only thing we want to comment out? So this printing is the only thing we want to comment out. So we want this, we get that one, and so let's try this again. So we have the rest. We should have the response chunk now. We have the response chunk. So this is what we want to get out. So from here we want now to get our text and format it in a form that we want. Let's say this is going to join the response. So this is going to be response text is going to be response. So join this response for us, and if we, after joining, let's see what we have. And if we join this, we have the kind of response that we get. So you can see text does not provide specific amount of about investment sector. However, it mentions that Act Ventures invest predominantly starting from a seed. So this is not giving us what we want. So let's do something in the prompt. Let's change the prompt. We actually want, if it does not provide, just return none. Let's change this prompt. Where did we define the prompt? Prompt. Extract this from the text. If text does not provide any of the requested data, return none. So let's look at the prompt again. Good. So sector. So I think this will give us a good stuff. So we have the text now, but we want to split this text into the two lines that we have here. So let's split the text into these two lines. So response text, we can say the investment amount, and the sector will be the response text. Now split by next line. So we have this, and we can say this investment amount will be, sorry, we are looking for this investment amount will be here in the 0. So investment amount will be here and the sector will be here. So we have this already. So we still want to split so that we get this exact data. So we can say sector return sector will be equals to investment amount. Investment will be equals to this dot 0 dot split by what? We split by this, and we want to take the second argument. I'm doing this together now. Then the sector will be splitted by the same. So now the investor will be 1 here, and it will take the second argument also. So we can say investment is this, right? 500 blah. So another thing is there's a space. Let's strip this, strip width, strip all the any space here, then strip any space here. So we have good, and the sector will be this. Good. So we have this together now. We can refactor it. We can refactor this. So from the response that ChatGPT provide for us, so ChatGPT gets prompt, then we have the response here. So from this response we can refactor the process. Def get sector and investment amount. So we will get the response, GPT response here. And now we can say GPT response, we want it to be joined. So this will be GPT response here, right? And from here we want this to be splitted into the two lines. The first one will be investment amount, and from here we want to get the investment, and we want to get the sector, and all we do now is to return investment, right? Return this investment and the sector, right? Bravo. So we can just run this, and let's try to say, after we've got this response, we want to say investment amount and the sector will be equals to this function, and we have this response from GPT as the argument. If we run this and we pull it up, we can say print invest, print inv, and this gives us what we have here, and we can say print sec. Bravo. Good. Now we have a function that can return both for us for any input that we have from any URL that we send as input. Now we'll bring this together. And write a function. We'll modify the previous function here, this function that gets all the data for us. So we'll modify it to get this data also. So let me bring this function down. Let me copy it down to this place. Now we want to add two more list to this. So we have investment amount, which is an empty list, and we have sector sector of focus, which is also an empty list. So now, let's bring this together. Let's change this to edit response instead of get. So edit response. So instead of this, we will use edit response, and this should work the way it's worked. So we have it same way. So now we can now create a function def get investment amount and sector. So this will take the in soup. So what do we have in here? So where did we get the soup? Up here we first of all clean the soup. So after cleaning the soup, what else? We create the prompt. So after creating the prompt, we use the prompt to get response from GPT API. After we get the response from GPT API, we edit the response. Great. So editing the response will give us the investment amount and the sector, which is this. And all we do is we will return those two for us, and that's pretty much what we will use in here. What do we have in here? From blah blah blah. So we need this. Let's test what we've done, and all we will have to bring down here is to test with maybe another URL. Let's use this third one and on it. Then we can say give us the amounts here. Investment and the sec will be equals to this. Then the soup object from here. Let's see if we have something good here. What's the problem? This not. Where is the problem coming from? Edit GPT response. So this will be here. We have this here. Let's run the function again. Let's run this again. Oh, it works. Print inv. Oh, great. And the print sector. Oops, great. So let's now add it to the all function. So we have this now. The function now will come down here, and we will have a link. So investor amount. Just relax and see how this gives us the cool thing we need. Investment amount here. Then we have a temp soup in here, and this will be append here. Your investment amount is gonna be in the index 0 of the output, and great. This will be interesting. And we have this focus will be in index 1 of the output. So we will just edit the dictionary for us. Then we call this investment amount, which will be this. And we have this now gonna be this focused sector, which will be equal to this list, sector focus. So let's see if the magic will work. So good. And now we have this modified function to give us the base URL. Remember, we have the base URL, the target class, the base URL here, v, the page number, extracting from each page, then the target class, where is that for us? Target class, and v, then the list starting from empty list. Let's see, return is data investor, the verdict will be returned to us. Wow, let's watch and see if everything works fine. Wow, so this looks like it breaks here, and what happened? So the problem here is that the output from the ChatGPT might not be in the format that we expect here. So let's try this. Let's try to restructure the prompt for ChatGPT so that we have the format that we expect in the extraction of the data. So let's look at the prompt creation. Where is the function that create the prompt? Okay, here. So we want to say the investment amount and sector from the text, and let's say return the output in this in two lines of text in this format. Let's see, we want the investment amount, which is going to be investment amount if provided in the text, right? Or return none if not provided. So the second line will be sector of focus, then we have sector of focus if provided in the text, or none if not provided. Let's see if this prompting will ensure that we have the output in the format that will work with our code. Let's run this, and okay, let's run this. Let's print this. I think this works, and let's print this sector depth tech sector as one includes less. Yeah, so because this is generative, it gives us different outputs at different times. Let's see, what does this one? Okay, this gives us something. So let's see if this prompting work for our data extraction. Let's try again. So it slows now because it has to prompt the GPT API and return the output. Wow, so I think we're successful at this time. We're able to retrieve the 117 websites. So let's look at the output for us. Let's convert this output to a data frame. So data investor data. Let's just say investor data is PD data frame, then the dictionary here. If we run this, let's say investor data. Wow. So this is not okay, because we have the same data all through now. So there's something wrong with this. Okay, focus sector, it's the same all through. So we need to look at what's going on. So basically our problem is in here. We didn't get the right text here. So this should be the in soup. I think our problem is here. So let's try again, hoping it works this time. So here we're just printing the output inside the output that we get from the ChatGPT. So some have none. So we didn't, let's do this. Let's stop this for now. And where we are printing the output in here, where is that printing? And let me say after this we want to print nothing, so that we can have those things. We can have the website retrieved, printed also. So let's see. So gives us this. So I want it this way so that we can look at where the error might occur. So some of this return none. This makes sense now. Wow, this takes quite some time, and I did a kind of correction with the prompting. I allowed the printing back in this function, so that's why I was able to debug the issue with the extraction of data with ChatGPT endpoint. So this printing of the response up here, I bring it back to print the response for us, so that we'll get what is actually being extracted for each of the investor partner, as in here. So we're able to get data for the 117. We show that some of them return none, some of them return none, this return none for investment amount and none for sector focus. So I will leave the whole script below this video. You can look at the script, make correction. Let's look at what the final data looks like. And now we have the data here, so we can see we have the investment amount for those that returns the amount. Then we have the focus sector. You can see now we have the focus sector extracted, and we can actually save these as a CSV file, investor data. So now let's get the data frame now, investor data to CSV. So we can say investor data to CSV, I think, right? Then the file name, let's say investor compiled data.csv. So let's see if this works. So we can have this in a CSV file, compiled data. I think you just got it here. So we have the compiled data here. .csv, which gives us investment amount and focus. So we can see we have been able to extract quite useful data from the UK Innovate website. We'll stop here with UK Innovate website. So this episode is quite experimental. We've demonstrated how to use the GPT in conjunction with Python scripts to extract data from investor description pages on the Innovate UK website. I have included the Python script used in this episode below the video. Feel free to download it, experiment with it, and perhaps even improve the code for a more efficient process. For now, we will move on from the Innovate UK website. In the next episode, I'll show you how to extract images from another website. So this will add to the variety of examples in our web scraping series. And don't forget, if you find this content informative, please subscribe to our channel, like the videos, and share them with anyone who might benefit from it also. See you in the next episode. Until then, keep exploring and keep learning.